No doubt you've heard about the importance of appropriate set and setting for a psychedelic experience. If you've had experience with it, or perhaps you've been reading up on it, or maybe you've seen videos, everybody talks about set and setting. Well, I'm going to add a third element that we feel is equally important, and that's skills. So listen up for that, okay? This is Eddie with a Mindful Emergence, where Margaret and I offer mindfulness, movement, and breathing practices for those of you seeking healing and spiritual transformation. We're in the waking up business, and most of our work right now is around plant medicines. So, set and setting, what are they talking about? Well, set basically is mindset. It's where is my mind when I'm ready to take these powerful plant medicines or other psychedelics? And obviously, going into a journey or ceremony when you're disturbed, you're upset, you're distracted is not a good thing at all. And that can contribute towards having not just a less than meaningful experience, but a really, really challenging one. And I had direct experience with that when I smoked DMT, when I probably didn't have the best mindset going into it. Okay. So we talk about like doing meditation, grounding yourself, avoiding toxic everything, including media, social media, news, people, and so on. So that when you come into the ceremony, you're focused, you're calm, you're grounded, and ready to take on this new experience. The second one is setting, and that's basically the environment you're in. So if you're comfortable and safe, if you're feeling safe, that's the most important factor for having a positive experience. So when people talk about bad trips, and you'll hear people say, there's no such thing as a bad trip. Bullshit. There are bad trips. There are situations where people don't feel safe for a variety of reasons. It could be going to a concert and losing their friends, or all kinds of situations can occur where people don't feel safe. So, set and setting are very, very important. The third one that we talk about is skills. So, when we sit for people to prepare them for using plant medicine, we give several preparation sessions, three to be specific. And the second one is skills building. And that's where we bring in mindfulness, movement, and breathing practices, and perhaps IFS to help people to prepare for the ceremony. So, for example, mindfulness, the ability to cultivate dual awareness or witness consciousness. That's the capacity to notice your experience when you're in it with a certain amount of detachment, a certain amount of objectivity, where if thoughts arise, we can stop and go, what am I thinking? How am I interpreting this experiencing? What is my perception of the situation right now? Now, I'm not saying you ask yourself those specific questions, but it's the ability to notice that our minds have a powerful effect on our experience. And can we become the witness of that without necessarily being in it? So that's the mindfulness practice. Movement. Movement can be tremendously effective in helping move the energy to ground, to calm, or to lift the energy. So, in some cases, people will find themselves doing a lot of movement. Some cases, they get out of the recliner, off the couch, they get down on the floor, we roll out a yoga mat. Some people have moved around. They have found that helpful in managing what's going on physically. Most plant medicines, psilocybin in particular, which is the one that we primarily prepare people for, is a very somatic medicine. You can really feel it in your body, and it may not always be comfortable, especially on the come up. You can notice sensations sometimes that are a little bit different. Okay. So, can we notice that with our minds and can we move our bodies? And the third is breathing practices. And that's divided up into two areas. The one that I want to focus on is how to use the breath to lift our energy or to help calm our energy down, to help regulate our nervous system. So, for example, at the beginning, sometimes there's sensations that happen in the abdomen as the medicine is breaking down, being metabolized, that can present themselves in a way that might remind us of feeling anxious. Or maybe there's an element of nausea that sometimes creeps in, even though the medicine can be prepared in a way to help eliminate that. But sometimes it still happens. There are ways of breathing. So, for example, if you're feeling a sense of anxiety, here's what you do: you just take a normal inhale through the nose, and then you exhale through the mouth and lengthen it. Now, notice I moved my hand when I did that. So it's just natural for me to breathe in and then go with my hands. And I also feel my feet pressing into the floor. And I'll do that a number of times. And the beautiful thing about this practice is you can use it for everything. Here's something you can use to help navigate difficult parts of an experience when you're using psychedelics, but you can do it everywhere just to help downregulate the nervous system when you're anxious. Now, on the flip side of that, you can also bring in more activating breath if you want to lift your energy. Now, we also have another breathing practice that we do, which is our third preparation session, which is essentially holotropic breath work, but we call it integrated breath work because we don't follow the protocol, the process that Stan Grof, the creator of this, asks that people follow if they're going to call it holotropic breath work, which is an all-day workshop. Ours is condensed down into a 2-hour period with 1 hour of breathing. And I've done other videos on holotropic breath work you can find on this channel. I suggest if you're not familiar with this, check them out. It can be a very, very helpful way to experience kind of a dress rehearsal before you actually do, or what's the other term? Like a trial before you do the actual ceremony. And it's particularly good for people who've never had experience with any psychedelics. So those skills are all presented and provided prior to the ceremony. Now, I mentioned IFS. Margaret is IFS informed. That's how she likes to reference herself because she's never gotten certified. She has undergone a lot of training and she's pretty good at it. And it's amazing how many people come to us. And in the initial inquiry, they talk about how they've had experience with IFS. And if they resonate with this process, internal family systems, Margaret's very friendly with that. And she can just come in on the preparatory stages and talk to people about their parts and how to work with them. Because you know what? The parts show up when you're deep in an experience. It just happens. And IFS and psychedelics have a way of working together very, very well if you're familiar with that particular modality. So all of these skills are fantastic for, first of all, preparing for the journey, and also, secondly, for integrating it, because all of these can be used after the ceremony to be able to unpack and take whatever we got from the ceremony and integrate it into your life. And thirdly, as I alluded to earlier, all of these skills can be used just down the road for whatever. And a lot of them can be then stacked and linked with other practices like yoga and Tai Chi and whatever helps us find a place of balance. So if you have questions on this, you can go to our website and reach out to us. You can put a comment with the video and I'll respond to it. And I hope this is helpful. And if you're curious at all, you can reach out to us and schedule a consultation that's free, and we can talk about the work that we can do, and you can talk to us about what you have in mind. And check out the other videos. There are a lot of other videos related to plant medicine and psychedelics that have been recently put up. I've interviewed several people. I've got more coming, and there's some good stuff in there. So anyway, thanks for watching. Give us a thumbs up if you like that, and we'll see you next time.